Hello everyone, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you are watching this video, this reading was meant to find you. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And this Two of Wands is a very assertive card. This is a card of bold action. This is the card really of seeing a direction for your life and saying, I'm going that way. There's confidence, there's vision. You're taking the initiative, okay? It's really time for us all to think bigger, to let ourselves want more for our lives. Okay? So right now, let's define the next month of our lives. Okay? Let's make a bigger plan, a bolder plan, not a safer one. Okay? How do we choose? How do we assert our control over our lives? Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. I bet you we'll get the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, well, we got a Nine of Cups. That's pretty good. That's super abundance. We have a Devil card. We have a Queen of Cups. A Six of Wands, victory. And a Four of Wands, repeatability. Okay, repeatability. Over here we have the Fool, yes. We have a Knight of Wands. We have the Art or Temperance card, and a Queen of Pentacles. I'm glad we have this really, really wonderful Queen of Pentacles there, because that's kind of like, that's us enjoying the life that we've created. I feel like it's your turn. I feel like you've been selected now for great good fortune, for happiness. We've got to put ourselves out there. We've got to push in to the universe. Okay? It's time to sort of take control of our future. This is a really blessing, a real blessing. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set this down right over here with our little Tibetan prayer wheel right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any moment you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments right below the video. Okay. Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2, 3 majors. Okay. We see that engine inside of you, this burning desire for more. Okay, this burning desire to create. We see the Fool, kind of ready for that fresh start, kind of returning to 0 point and saying, I'm going to start from today. I don't have to worry about what happened yesterday. I don't have to cling to anything from the past. I can start fresh right here, right now, at this very moment. And the Temperance card, of course, is that card of, transformation, slow and steady, the kind of the willingness to be molded and shaped into the person that we need to become. Our will, our force, our fire, our strength is going to be forged in the fire of the world around us, of like getting out there into the world and asserting ourselves is going to test us, and it's going to push back a little bit, but that's the refining fire of the Temperance card. The pressure cooker, the blacksmith's, anvil, and the furnace, all that good stuff. Anyway, so we have those majors. We've got fire, 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 lots of fire, right? We've got water, water. No air cards. And a little bit of earth. No air cards at all. Why? Because we're not second-guessing ourselves. We're not doubting. We're not anxious. We're not miserable. We're not worried about the future. I hope we're not clinging to the past. There's some issues about the past there that we're still resolving. We're also not sure of the plan. We don't have a plan yet, but that's what we're doing now with the Two of Wands. Mars in Aries. This is the planning. This is us thinking bigger and letting ourselves want more. This is us formulating the bigger plan, allowing ourselves to have that vision of the future that we want. You're having a vision of your future self, who you are, where you are, what you're doing down the road. This is it. This is you. You're sitting pretty on your throne, surrounded by your pets, your plants, your people. This is your future self. Okay? You're having that vision. And you're saying, I know what I could be. I know who I could be. You're making that bold plan. Right? You're ready for the leveling up. You're not going to be acting small. You're thinking big. You're acting big. And you're not seeking permission. You're leading. You're allowing this vision to lead you. You're one brave decision away from a complete timeline shift. I promise you. One brave decision. So step into this vision of you, this version of you that knows exactly where they're going, who they're going to be, where they're going to be, and what they're going to be doing. Okay? We've got to take that bold action. The sooner we do, the better. And I think the Nine of Cups is going to help us out. This is happiness. This is superabundance, right? It's a Three of Cups times three levels, okay? It's abundance on the physical and financial plane, mental and emotional plane, and the creative spiritual plane. 3, 3, 3. Super abundance. Okay? Satisfaction. This is overflowing joy. This is gratitude, enjoyment. Something that you actually desire. Something that you truly want. It's aligning now. It's not hypothetical. It's not just, I have a wish, I have a dream. It's not just, yeah, one day it would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice? You know? No, it will be. It is now, currently, because you're doing it. You've made the decision to make it real. You're taking your fire and you're manifesting it on earth. The engine of the car is what takes the fire and transmits it to earth. This is the engine. Of course, we need the magician to kind of, to conduct that flow. The magic that makes the whole vehicle work. This is fire and earth, right? It's a Capricorn energy. It's a cardinal earth energy. It's literally fire and earth together. That internal combustion that is building power. It's like an engine of a car. It's the driving force. It needs to be transmitted to the wheels, but that's kind of what we have here too. Fire and earth. Yeah. This is the prime time for you to start manifesting your dream self, your dream life. It's not hypothetical. It's real. Something you actually desire is actually aligning. We got to let it in. We've got to let ourselves out. Okay? And you don't need to diminish yourself in any way. Allow yourself to take up space. Allow yourself to feel this. This is a joy of the journey, of the path. Okay? And this is you not feeling bad about that at all. Not worrying about, sometimes we tend to downplay our own, enthusiasm because we don't want other people to feel uncomfortable or to be sort of diminished because, maybe they're not feeling what you're feeling. But this is a card that's saying, no, you deserve to feel happy. And you're not going to rub anyone's face in it, right? But you're going to feel it and you're allowed to feel it. You don't need to downplay your own joy or enthusiasm or motivation just so somebody else doesn't get kind of uncomfortable. Who knows? Maybe you're going to end up motivating somebody else. you know? Somebody's going to see your joy. And they're going to think, gosh, I want to feel that too. It's the joy of doing your will. It's pure bliss. And this is the moment to do this and to believe in this, not to assume that it's going to disappear. Assume, know beyond the shadow of a doubt that it's going to be real. And of course, gratitude, sharing our love, sharing our joy with others. Okay, gratitude is going to help to kind of keep the good stuff around. You know, this is happiness that is earned. It's not accidental. It's not luck. It's saying that you're asserting your will. You're acting as a sovereign being in the universe, and you are creating your life, and that inherently feels good. It's earned joy. Okay, we got to invite it in. We got to allow it to stay. Sometimes pleasure requires permission. Okay, you have to believe that you are allowed and that you deserve to live a life that feels good. The 9 is a verb. The 9 is how you're living. Any of the 9s. We just happen to get the 9 of Cups, the superabundant kind. We could get a 9 of Swords, how you live in your life. Miserable. We could get the 9 of Pentacles, how you live in your life. Well, you know, I'm earning, right? Or, you know, what if we got the 9 of Wands, how you live in your life? Well, it's taken a lot out of me. I'm worn down, right? But you're living a 9 of Cups. How you living? You're living happy. You're living grateful. This is bliss. This is wonderful. Okay? You got to let yourself feel good. It's not a distraction from the path. This is the path when the path is working. Okay? We got to let that sink in, because that is the delicious realization. Your journey should feel good. It should empower you. It should feel like joy and pleasure. Okay? Now we have our wonderful devil energy right below us. Now this devil card is the life force, okay? This is the engine of the car. This is the creative power. This is like the fire in your belly, you know? This is your sovereignty. A sacred desire. This is the engine that's pushing your life forward. There's something you want to create, okay? This is the creative or generative drive. This is the pleasure drive. This is the assertive or sovereign drive, okay? Those 3 human drives functioning as they should, and this is unstoppable, right? This is a hunger. This is a heat. This is an urgency, again, a fire in your belly, right, that wants to create that life, okay? And this is the engine of the car, and it's really like, it's time to use this. It's time to put the car in gear. I'm really hoping the mystery card's going to be that magician, because we need something to put all of this into gear. We need to engage the transmission, right? So that I guess it's a really old car and shifters on the side like that. You know, we've got to get this power to the wheels. Otherwise, this energy, if it's not expressed, is going to disrupt our lives in negative ways. And that's why this card is associated with materialism or hedonism or addiction and all those attachments and temptations, because it's the improper usage of those drives. Okay? I mean, and that's typically the traditional interpretation of the devil card, right? The devil's not a bad card. It can be. Okay? Every card has light and shadow, but the devil, as think of an engine of a car, it's not bad. It's just an engine. Creates power. The driving of the car could be good or bad. You could be a really poor driver, or you could be a very good driver. You could drive the car somewhere that you want to be, or you could drive your car somewhere you don't want to be, right? It's not the engine's fault, right? The engine is neither good nor bad. It just is an engine. It creates power, or harnesses power, perhaps you could say. But it's up to the driver, the consciousness, to put that car in gear and drive the car. We could drive it into a swamp, or we could drive it up the mountain, up the spiral road to Big Rock Candy Mountain. Okay? But if we ignore it, it's going to find a way to seep into our lives in those negative ways. Addictions and, materialism and those kinds of things. Okay? And so that's why I think the Devil card has always gotten a bad rap in tarot, but it's the most powerful card because it's capable of such like unimaginable feats, such movement. Okay? It is the engine that can harness all of this power. It could be used for good or evil, right? Now we have also the Queen of Cups here in the background. This is an emotional wisdom and compassion and intuition that was born from your past experiences. The queens of the tarot are always trying to process the past. Okay? So I feel like there is a lot has happened to you in your life, And I think that a lot of that is sort of pushed away as being like unwanted or unpleasant or like I just need to forget about it. And in a way, yes. The Fool is traveling forward with no baggage. Fool's got no luggage, right? But we don't want to assume that all of our past experiences were a waste of time or worthless or just, in some way harmful to us or unwanted or unwelcome. They're part of you. So this card is really about lifting the veil of our own emotions, our own emotional body, and showing some compassion to ourselves. Showing some love. This is the card of radical self-love. Accepting every part of who we are. Healing. Allowing ourselves to sort of assimilate or integrate or come to terms or find peace with the past, so that we can move forward free and clear. Cleared all those emotional debts to myself, right? Forgiven myself, loved myself, accepted myself, nurtured myself, pampered myself a little bit. Because this card is trying to understand things that have happened. Okay, maybe you had a rough life. Maybe we've been through some pretty challenging experiences. I feel like most of us have, to a greater or lesser degree, right? And I think that, if we stay attached to those things, and that's going to interfere with our lives a little bit, or we ignore those things and try to just forget about them, that's going to interfere with our lives too, because I think that's going to influence the Devil card a little bit as kind of like the wrong kind of fuel for the Devil card. So I think that this really, the reason why it's here anyway, is because I think a lot of you have done a kind of emotional processing or purging or a lot of depth work, really trying to dive into our lives, dive into our past and our history to really gain some perspective on that. Okay? This is the deep emotional insight that's really leading to a kind of emotional wisdom, emotional, what do they call it? Intelligence. Yeah. So you know how to listen to those subtle layers of feeling. And I think that because of that work, because of that deep emotional work, you have a good sense of who you are, and a really strong sense of what you want. There's power in here. Yeah. And I think that you're very sensitive to other people's emotions too. Maybe that's kind of something that you learned throughout your upbringing in life, is how to really notice other people's feelings, to the point where you're probably maybe not a natural empath, but you're a learned empath. Okay? And so I feel like you have this sensitivity where you really tend to absorb the feelings or the moods or the emotions of other people. And I think that now you're realizing that you can turn that off, or you can protect yourself from that when you need to. You don't need to absorb everybody's stuff, everybody's vibes. Okay? I think that this is also a recognition of the different layers of desire. First, we have the surface level, right? The surface of the water. It's just reflecting light, you know. So the surface level is when you have really no desires of your own. You're just doing whatever the people around you are doing. Oh, everybody around me likes that kind of music. Okay, that's what I like. Everybody around me is pursuing those particular desires in life. Okay, that's what I'm going to pursue as well. Then there's the shallow end of the pool, where we are chasing pleasure and running from pain. Yeah. And we could see already how those two layers are very reflective of some of the shadow qualities of the devil card. Yeah. Because living on the surface of the water takes away all of our sovereignty. We're not in control of anything. I'm just reflecting the world around me. Everybody else likes ice cream. I like that flavor too. Okay? So there's no sovereignty. And then the shallow end, where I'm chasing pleasure and I'm running away from pain. That is the dysfunction of the pleasure drive. And then the deeper layers of the ocean, of the water, of the pool here. The deep end of the pool is where I don't care what other people are doing. I connect with something deeper and more primeval and more kind of original, you know, inside of myself, inside of my soul. And that's what I want. And that's what I know to be the real truth. There's stillness down there. You go to the very bottom of the ocean and there's stillness. You don't get the currents like you do at the top. You don't get the storms and the turbulence that you do at the surface or on the upper sort of layers. So I feel like you have a real depth to you. I feel like you're very sensitive to other people, their needs and their emotions and their vibes. Right now you're thinking, I know what I want. I know what I need. And you're leading your life from that deep, true, honest place. Deep down in the depths of who you are. Yeah. And now we have a Six of Wands as well. The Six of Wands is victory. Okay. But it's not victory for you alone. There's the implication of, if not actual literal teamwork, there's the implication of cooperation, interdependence, okay? Realizing that we're part of something, not just me, right? That there's a world out there that I'm a part of in some way. Okay, but you might say, well, yeah, but I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. I don't have a job. I don't work with other people. No, but you're still connected. You're still part of the world, you know? This is a card of confidence, achievement. This is the card of getting attention. You're being seen, and you're allowing that. You're sharing your progress. You're not downplaying anything. Remember, you're standing up tall. You're letting yourself take up space. Okay? You're receiving compliments. I think you're somebody who maybe in your past you didn't really like getting compliments. It felt weird or awkward or something. Right now, you're taking them, you're saying, yeah, thanks. You know, with a nice smile on your face, yeah. You may be looking into new ways to show yourself to the world, new ways to sort of publish your life, publish your work, you know, maybe literally publishing. But kind of being like a leader as a way to, like, you know, to be seen by the world around you. And I feel like your confidence can really inspire others. I feel like you're really owning your confidence right now. You may be moving into literally a leadership role in life, or taking a leadership role and saying, you know what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to build this business. I'm going to build this life. No one's going to do it for you. I think it's kind of the message here, that you want to stand tall. You deserve the win. You deserve the happiness. You deserve to take up space. And so this is kind of like, this is an expansive, it's Jupiter in Leo, right? This is you expanding, this is you choosing to take up more room in the world. Well, the universe is infinite. Take up as much space as you want, you know? This is you taking up time. You know, it's kind of like maybe the best way to illustrate this card is to talk about the opposite quality. This would be somebody that, you know, they're going to have a meeting with somebody and they are just constantly apologizing. I'm sorry, I'll make it quick. You know, I'm sorry that I take up so much of your time. Really just like overly apologetic and feeling guilty almost for taking up time or space. Does that make sense? Whereas like we feel like we're always inconveniencing other people. This card's the opposite of that nonsense, okay? And maybe you're familiar with that. Maybe the best way to relate to this card is say, yeah, you know what, sometimes I do feel like I'm imposing or inconveniencing other people by like talking to them. Like I don't even like to say hi to people because I feel like I'm taking up their time, you know? And when we're standing in a room, it's like I'm trying to just shrink into the corner so I take up the least amount of space, you know, sorry for existing. Well, we're done with that. Bovine excrement, right? We're done with that. This is the opposite of that. This is expansiveness. This is like I have something, I know I have something meaningful for you. I know that I bring something of value to the world. And I don't feel guilty for taking up your time having a conversation. I don't feel bad taking up space in the room. Now, you want to make sure that, you know, this expansive, you know, energy doesn't like give you a big old head can't fit through the door. You don't want to take up so much room that everybody's like staying away from him or her. So there's a balance, right? That's needed. We want to respect other people's time, other people's space, but we need to also respect ourselves and know that we bring something of value to the world and we deserve to take up time and space. That we have something worthwhile. We deserve that recognition and we deserve other people to pay attention to us. It's kind of like if you're having a conversation with somebody and they're on their phone or they're like distracted or whatever, that person's not worth it. Because they're not giving you the attention that you deserve in that moment. Now we have to do the same for other people. We have to give people the attention that they deserve. As much as we can. Sometimes it's like, bro, you've been going on for an hour. I need to get on to a different subject now. Okay? So, I mean, it's understandable, but we have to try to, you know, we have to try to be sort of honorable in that way. Okay? But yeah, this card is your stature. Okay? Now we've got a Four of Wands in the immediate future. The Four of Wands is completion, it's celebration, it's a stability. Okay, it's really good news. So something that you're doing now is working. We're doubling it, right? We're going from 2, 4, and then we have 6. So the 4 then is like the vision, the plan that you've had is starting to work now. Okay, you're celebrating progress, and things are moving along. You're turning the wheel of time and space in your own life. Celebrating progress. Okay. This is also a card of strengthening your environment. This is the redecorating card. Venus and Aries. For me, this is all. Now, there's a lot of Aries references here. Probably a lot of Aries people watching this video. But the Venus and Aries to me is redecorating. And I feel like this is like your plan, your vision is working, because now you're seeing your life transforming literally before your eyes, seeing your physical reality change to align with you. Your life is getting redecorated, renovated. It's starting to look more the way you want it to. You're realizing that you're living the life that you desire. That's what this card is. It's a 9, right? The function, living the life you desire. And you're realizing that it's having a physical effect. Like the things that you have around you are changing into the version that you want them to be. And so it's literally like the material things, let's say. The color of the wallpaper now is your preference. The furniture, the color of the carpet, right? It's your style. And so I always think of this card as like, take everything off the wall and put up the decorations that you want. What do you want your life to look like? Uplift your environment. Okay? And so I think that this is an ongoing process of making your world look more like you look. It should be a reflection of you and of who you are. So literally, I think it's like, put up the art on the wall that you want to have there. Not what anybody else has put up, and just, like, make it look the way you want. So there's the sense of aesthetics here. Okay? But it's also about cleaning, organizing, stabilizing, and uplifting your environment. Okay? Say yes to things, especially social gatherings, relationships, community things, family stuff, business meetings, opportunities. Say yes to stuff. Okay? Your life is becoming much more secure. You're enjoying the moment. You're nourishing yourself, and this is going to continue to fuel this wheel. This is the wheel of your chariot. And you got to keep, we've got the gas, we've got the engine, we've got the gas for the engine, and now we're moving the wheel. So this is gas, engine, and this is movement. And then this, of course, is how you're steering the car. Okay? And this is you realizing that you deserve to be on the road as much as anybody else does. Okay? So let yourself feel proud. You're building the life that suits you. You're building a life that fits you. The life you desire and the life you're actually building, the physical version of that, there's a match. It fits. Okay? Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Let me know which card on the path of the dove seems to resonate with you the most. Yeah? Before we talk about the path of the serpent, I want to do an oracle of manifestation. And here you have the cross of faith. Balance effort with trust and intention with surrender. I make my dreams real. Okay? Well, that's what you're doing now. You're making your dreams real. Fire to earth. Even the Four of Wands is fire and earth, right? Because one, it's wands, right? So obviously it's fire. But the earth, because it's a number 4, it implies the 4 elements, the 4 directions, the 4 corners, and all that stuff. The four walls of a house. So it's literally taking your intention and putting it into concrete form around you. Balancing effort with trust. Okay, that's going to be important too. Balancing intention with surrender. Now, the Two of Wands is that card of control. I want things to go my way. I'm going to assert my control over my life, and I'm going to steer the car. And I'm going to trust in what happens outside of my control is happening for me and not to me. See, we can't control much, can we? So there's an illusion in this card. There's a little bit of a trick. Spirit wants you to feel like you can control everything. Spirit wants you to feel like you're in control of your life and you need to drive the car. But really, Spirit's in control. And that's why I was thinking Wheel of Fortune would be good here, because the Wheel of Fortune is like all the things that happen outside of our control. We can't control what other people do. We can't control what they say, what they think, how they feel. We can't control their behavior. We can't control what happens outside of us. But what we can control is our response to the world. That's really all we can do. But that's enough control to make us feel like we are in control of everything. So there's an illusion there, but Spirit wants us to believe that so that we can manifest this life, knowing who's really driving the car is Spirit. Okay? So there are things outside of us that we cannot control. So we do need to balance intention, control, and surrender. Maybe the Hanged Man, maybe the Wheel of Fortune as the mystery card. Okay? So that's a very important lesson. Now we have this Fool energy. This is a new chapter, a leap of faith. A leap of faith, okay? And the interesting thing between the Two of Wands and the Fool is that, yeah, we want to take a leap of faith, but we don't want to be a fool. We don't want to be dumb, you know? So what we do with the Two of Wands is we try to make the conditions as perfect as possible. We do the best that we can so that when we do leap, it's not a huge, unmanageable risk. We don't want to leap right into, a fiery pit of despair, right? So we're trying to pull the car up as close as we can before we jump out of it. Trying to pull the boat up as close to the dock as we can before we take the leap of faith. And so we have the cross of faith. Yeah. So we need faith. We need to take the leap. We need that. We need to trust the journey. We need to just all abandon and just go, just leap in. But we also need to make sure that we set things up beforehand so that when we do leap, it's a pretty easy jump. We're jumping from the boat to the dock. We pulled the boat up right next to the dock. Not much of a jump. Okay? Still jumping out. Still taking a leap of faith. But we've balanced that with preparation, wisdom, forethought, and planning and that sort of thing. That's why the Two of Wands is planning. I'm planning a leap of faith, you see. But I think a new cycle is beginning for you. Something fresh is starting. Okay? And you're not bringing any of this old baggage with you. I think we've processed all of that stuff. We're coming in with a readiness, And it's good to share your plans with other people, but only with the supportive people. Don't open yourself up to criticism right now, okay? Use your curiosity as your compass. We're in search of novelty. We're doing something novel, doing something you've never done before. And if and when fear pops up, you're going to take that brave action anyway. That's the leap. Okay? Knowing that you're in a good position to leap. That you've done as much of the homework as you could. You're ready to take the leap. Okay? We got to start moving on this. We're not trying to overthink anything. The Fool is just kind of free, empty of doubts, empty of worries, empty of all those the knots of karma and those sore spots, those weak spots, all that emotional energy. I feel like this is you being kind of purified and ready. Okay. And then, of course, we have our Knight of Wands, literally leaping. This is an Aries superpower card. This is courage. This is us taking the bold action, taking the risk. This is high energy. This is here like planning the risk, planning the bold move, and now we're taking the bold move. And we're doing it. So this is a go for it energy, not hesitation. Do not hesitate. Take the bold step forward toward your bigger dream. You're allowed to take up space, move with confidence, speak with confidence. Channel that fire into direct action. We need the transmission to put the engine in gear, to engage the transmission so that we can hit the gas. Okay? There's a passion here, and it's moving you. And the question was that this card asks, what must I do to get to where I want to go? What must I do to become the best version of myself, living my best life? What must I do to become the Queen of Pentacles? Okay, you're showing up, you're speaking up, you're leading. Your courage here is opening the door. It's time to initiate this process. Of course, we got to go through the pressure cooker to get there, don't we? We have to go through the Temperance card, the alchemy of it, the transformation, the realization that this journey is going to change you. This is pressure. This is a refinement, okay? This is you changing from the inside out. You are the metal that's being heated and reshaped, okay? There is a fire and a water part of you that we're opposite now, working together. I think your past, I think all the emotional stuff, rather than being baggage or heavy lead weights, I think all that emotional stuff is the fuel for the fire. Okay? This isn't about balance. This is about you fusing everything together into something stronger. This is the pressure cooker. This is the heat of transformation. You don't run from this. You run into this. And you allow it to transform you because it's making you somebody that can drive the car. The only way to drive the car is to get in there and drive the car, to practice, to get good at it, to go through the scary, process of learning how to drive a car, which means you got to get in there and you got to go. You got to drive around town. First, drive around an empty parking lot. Then drive around the slow back country roads. Then you drive through town. Then you drive through the freeway. Then you drive through the city, and it's just like, then you drive in San Francisco, and then you want to quit driving forever. No offense, San Francisco. I was born there, so I can say that. But see, that's the pressure cooker. You put yourself into a high-pressure situation, you got no choice but to change. It changes you on the inside, And driving is such a good example of that, because putting yourself into those high-pressure situations forces you to grow and transform and adapt. You're being transformed into a new version of yourself. Trust the process. It's alchemy. Transformation is not comfort. It's the creation of a self that is sturdy enough, right, to hold on to its own life. Stay in the heat, because a new form is taking shape. This is the blacksmith's furnace and anvil, and I think that we have enough fire here and enough water that we can kind of see the analogy works, that we push ourselves, we allow the challenging situation to change us, and then we experience the intense reward of that. Just like someone at the gym. You don't get stronger by lifting the weights. In fact, you get weaker. You're tearing your muscles apart. You get stronger when you rest. You get stronger after, when you're just relaxing, sleeping, and, like Jiminy Cricket used to say, right? You grow when you sleep. And it's the same thing with this high-pressure situation. You're going, and maybe when you're in that intense work, you feel like you're doing a poor job, or you just feel like you're not getting it. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just a bad day, a rough day, right? The rough days are the good days. Then you go home, you sleep, you wake up in the morning, you're different. Your mind, your brain, your aura, your spirit, your soul, your body has all unconsciously assimilated, well, maybe super consciously, assimilated all that experience. And you wake up a brand new version of yourself. Even though when you're in the fire, you think, this sucks, it's terrible, I'm bad at it, I keep getting the wrong answer, I keep making mistakes. That's good. That's what it's supposed to be. Okay? And what you're becoming is the Queen of Pentacles. This is a card of comfort. It's a card of nourishment. This is the card of a home, of building a life. This is you feeling at home in your life. This is you having all the resources that you need. This is you taking care of your body, taking care of your space, enjoying a very abundant, a super abundant environment. This is the idea of simple meals, nourishing food, a clean environment, stable finances, stable emotions. You're thriving. You're supported, you're grounded, and you're making decisions that protect your well-being. There's a stability here. You're nurturing yourself, you're nurturing others. You got your pets, your plants, your people all around you. Your life is becoming what you've desired. This is you living that life, living your best life. I want to look at the mystery card. I know this reading is getting a little bit long, and I appreciate you letting me take up your time. I thank you for allowing me space in your life. Now I think this should be the Empress, Wheel of Fortune, Hanged Man. What do you think? Put it in the comments. Let's see. Oh, yeah, even better. The High Priestess. The High Priestess is that intuition. And this is really, you're being called to a new life. The High Priestess is card number 2. What's card number 3? What is right behind the High Priestess? Well, the Empress. You can see because of the pomegranates, the fruits, the abundance that's right behind her. Your intuition, she's a leading you to your best life. She's saying, come with me. I'm going to lead you through the fire. But you're going to get to your best life. And so this is really, spirit's driving the car. But it's our physical hands upon the wheel. You know what I mean? We're the pilot of the ship. But spirit, or your soul, or God, goddess, deity, your guardian angel, your intuition, your super consciousness, your cosmic consciousness, that's the actual captain of the boat. We're just the pilot. Ego, right? Just the pilot. Spirit's the captain. And this is your intuition showing you where to go, So trust in this. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. I'm here every day at 6 a.m. Minnesota time, so just come back and see me again tomorrow. Check the channel for your schedule and when your readings come out. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Drop your sign in the comments below. Okay? Shout out your sign. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Okay? Let's push toward 500K. 500,000 people. That's crazy. It's crazy. I want you to know, all of you, that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we are all in this together.